What's going on, guys? Jeremy here. So today I want to make a video talking about Bored Ape Yacht Club and ranking rarity, like what really gives value to the different apes, because there's so much conflicting information out there, and everyone's gonna be biased because they have their own ape. And so I'm trying to get a non-biased perspective, give you guys, the tips and tricks to really see value in the apes. So I'm not going to explain what Bored Ape Yacht Club is because it'll take too long. Just if you don't know what it is, go check it out on other YouTube videos. We're really looking at valuation. So first of all, Rarity Tools, rarity.tools is the best place to find info for this type of stuff. We already have this ranking that is based on a rarity score, which, as you guys can see right here, is based on rarity of traits. So the number one rarity ranking here is definitely not the rarest, quote unquote. Based on the numbers it is, but it's not the one that's going to fetch the most money. If we were to sell, every single ape at auction today, this one would not be number one. My prediction would be it'd be around 20th probably. But there are still some valuable, apes in this ranking. The main rarity feature that matters the most is the fur. So this one for here, for example, is the golden fur. It's called solid gold. And you guys can see here on the fur on the left, these are the rarities of each fur, and that's out of 10,000 apes. So, for example, 12% are black, 4.9% are blue, and 0.46% are solid gold. And so these apes here are going to fetch the most value, regardless of what you think, in general, as a general rule. And we're going to talk about the exceptions to why there's some apes that could fetch more value than a gold ape, and there are a few of those. Um, but number one is going to be fur. So the fur rarity, in terms of, it pretty much follows the numbers, but the two that are very, very rare are going to be your solid gold, 46 of them, and then your trippy, which has 77. After that, there is noise, which is the third rarest, but it's not going to fetch the most value. I'd say death bots will fetch more value than the noise, and that's just historically speaking. We can actually look at the actual value here if we go to the trait noise and death bot. Even though the floor for the death bot is lower still than the actual noise, historically looking at trades, let's say you have a similar rarity death bot, similarly rarity noise, the death bot will probably sell for higher. And that's just how it is sometimes. There are some traits, and we're going to talk about those that, override because of aesthetic value, they override the actual rarity. But you can see here decreasing rarity of, fur, decreasing floor price. Then look at the cheetah, for example. Per example, the cheetah is less rare. There are 406 of them. It's less rare than the zombie, which is 302. Yet, there are 100 more, 104 more cheetahs and zombies. Yet the floor is literally 2 ETH higher. And a cheetah, because aesthetically, this is a cool looking fur. And so that's just how it is. You gotta kind of look at the different floors and such. But yeah, fur number one. I want to talk about the exceptions here real quick because there are a few exceptions that we have to really keep an eye out for. There's one ape that will always be the most rare and will always fetch the most value, undebatably, and that is the trippy hat with the trippy fur. It says rank 452, but this is the most valuable ape and will always be the most valuable ape because you guys can see the trippy hat is a 65 rarity, which means that they're 0.65% of apes have it, and the trippy fur is 0.77%. So what that means is the probability of this actually happening and being an ape when they were randomly generated is so low, and it looks cool. And it's a combination that there's one of it. There's only one of it. If you look at uniqueness pairs right here, as you can see, the trippy fur, the trippy hat is one of one, and it's just the most rare ape. And in fact, if you disagree with that, which you're probably wrong, honestly, comment down below what number you think is, rare. But this has to be the number one. This thing could sell, in my opinion, for, multiple $1 million one day. But yeah, I'm a little bit biased with the trippies. I think trippies look cooler than the solid gold, but they're still fetching good money. A trippy nowadays, what's the floor? The floor is a little bit distorted. This floor, it was literally a week ago. The floor was like 38 ETH. But I'd say you could get solid, Trippies are a solid, $300 to $500,000 ape right now, and the golds will be like 500 to 600,000. But golds haven't been selling. There are a few. There are like three golds that sold last weekend, for 100 ETH. One was 95, one was 100, one was 105, which is about 300K. But that was last week before this, pump. That in fact that kind of caused the pump. Anyways, we got a lot more stuff to talk about. So, for one thing that I think is a little bit controversial that people disagree with me on is the four trait. So if we look at four trait and remove Trippy, a four trait. So the apes, they have different amount of traits. Okay. If you look right here, you can see the trait counts 4, 5, 6, 7, and the rarities. So your four traits, the rarest by far, and then you have 7, then 5, then 6. And the four traits pretty much means that all you have is the background, the mouth, the fur, and the eyes. That's all you have. This is a fake four trait in my opinion because the mouth has a cigarette in it. It's not a clean, ape. Same with this one. The eyes have something that's not, realistic. I like to say it's very hard to explain. A true four trait, in my opinion, is something like this, where it actually does not look. It looks like just like a naked ape, pretty much, where there's no, sort of trait that's doesn't seem realistic. If that makes sense. Like, who would ever thought this was a four trait? Like, this was like I have a five trait, and my five trait looks less complicated than this one. You know what I mean? Um, so there are very few real four traits, in my opinion. Like, here's another one. These are very, very few of them. And I think that's like a big distinguish. Like this ape right here, I'm pretty sure just sold today for like $500,000. Yeah, 175 3 hours ago. That's like 500K. I mean, obviously, you got the blue beams, which is the most rare eye feature. You guys look at that. The blue beams is the most rare. And there's only, okay, there are four traits with the blue beams, but it's literally the most rare. If I'm not mistaken, it's the most rare eye feature. Let me remove the four traits. It has to be 49 with the blue beams. Yeah, it's the most rare. Laser eyes is second. But yeah, so you see how it is. Like, the traits going to be a big deal. So you could have a really ugly four traits with nothing really special on it. But if you look at the actual, um, traits, if you look at the trait count, you'll see that just because it's a four trait puts it at 30 ETH, which is like a $90,000 floor. You know what I mean? And yet you have some five traits that look the same as a four trait. Like, look at this five trait. This five trait right here is way more simple looking than this four trait right here, right? And so it's a little bit confusing, but that's again what you have to play with. It's kind of the idea that it is a four trait, not that it really looks like a four trait. But yeah, that's a very interesting thing. The theme matches is probably the most important. We've already talked about the theme matches before, but if we look at the actual, theme matches, we can see, theme match 1. So we have the Trippy. Where did I look at? I'll just go include thematics on. This is a huge theme match. We talked about it before. This one is very, very rare as well because the red cap and the red shirt are also very, very rare. They're rarer than the black merch, so that's a very, very unique trait. One of the most unique of all of them. This one obviously this one will fetch like, upwards of the gold floor. This thing right here, in my opinion, will probably get more. Look, because the Terminator, right? It's the floor is 130, 137, 133.7. You look at this, but it's like the only clean one. You see, this one's cool, but it's the only clean, only Terminator look. And so I think this right here could be one of those, Hail Marys that just really like surprises price action and to be auctioned off in the future. There's also one very, very important one, which is owned by Machi Big Brother, which for some reason isn't showing on here. It is let's actually look right here. It's got, the fur is zombie. The hat, not the pilot helmet, it's the helmet here. This one right here. This one, look, he has it on sale for 4,200 ETH, which obviously isn't going to sell for that much anytime soon. But look at that, Rarity 1982, because it doesn't really have that much rare. Like the only rare part about it would be the skin. The actual zombie skin. The theme match, sure, zombie times 2, but it's way more than that. You got this whole aesthetic. Every single feature of it represents this soldier look. So that one could fetch millions as well. those are the, kind of traits you're looking for. But yeah, in the end, like the aesthetics matter the most. So like if we look at, for example, let's look at brown fur, and let's go to the least rare ones. Let's go to like the page 28. And we can look at these and you can instantly see which ones are gonna, fetch more than others. Like this one is very clean. This one will probably sell at a premium above this one that just looks bad. You know what I mean? It's obviously subjective, but a lot of people, when you're in a floor ape nowadays, when I bought my ape, it was much more easy to get into the floor ape level. But nowadays, you really got to see when you're buying one, you got to really see, what if it looks good. Like crazy eyes are not really liked. People don't really like them. People don't like the dresses. There are a few traits people really don't like, as opposed to like the cheetah, which everyone loves. Like this one looks cool, I guess. I mean, it's simple, it's clean, but you just got to look. Not all same rarities are created equal. See, I'm a big fan of the ripped T-shirt, but some people aren't. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this first video about Rarity. There's so much other stuff to talk about. But it is what it is. Be smart. Look really into this. I mean, if you have any questions, I've been in the community now for about 2 months, so spent a lot of time learning about the apes and understanding what rarities really show value. Apes have been doing very well. 19K ETH past 7 days volume. For those asking who care, my favorite ape is, I can't remember the ID number, but it is Kenshiro's ape. One of my favorites. I really like the Dagger High's one. This one right here. I really like this one. I think it looks really, really cool. But I'm not really a fan of the pizza mouth anyways, so it's just on this one that I like it. I'm a big fan of like this one too. I think this one looks really, really cool. But of the rare ones, like, I'll never be able to afford any of these anyways, and even if I could, I probably wouldn't buy one. So, it is what it is, It's just cool. There are a lot of really, really cool ones. I'm personally not a fan of the service. I think it looks bad. This one looks pretty clean. It just, everything's everywhere. Yeah, there are a few that are very, very cool. But yeah, that one's interesting. I like the dagger in the mouth. That looks pretty cool. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And until then, as usual, peace.